Hello, hello. Great to see you guys. All right, this is going to be a today's topic video. It's going to be for the 15th, and I know I'm off tempo right now. Forgive me for that. I was kind of resting my lungs today, so everything's coming out way late tonight. But anyway, here we go. We have the Judgment card. So the message for the 15th of December, and keep in mind, I will be doing a full moon message on the 15th. Which is only a few hours from now, actually an hour from now. But it's a full moon. It's also the end of Mercury retrograde. So this could be a very powerful day. The fact that we have the divine overseeing a really important break in the storm, right? The lightning strike would be like the moment of clarity. Somebody could be, if they've been troubled by something, if they haven't known what they should do, it might be being illuminated to them on the 15th. And this is about making peace with something. Maybe it's about reconciling, coming back into communication with someone, or it's about simply accepting something or forgiving something. I'm feeling like with the Ten of Wands and the Knight of Cups, I'm feeling like somebody is letting go of like a tumultuous thought process that they had for a while. And as they let go of it, what they replace it with, and this could be a feminine, she's just excited to continue on her journey, lighter, brighter, seeking out other fun, beautiful, emotionally fulfilling experiences. It, to me, feels like somebody is getting recalibrated on the 15th, and it could be a divine feminine who's just feeling better. Now, we do have a lot of angel wings, though. So it could also be that we have, and we actually have kind of the image of a masculine who is moving forward now. And it's, I don't know, I almost feel like either a feminine has given this energy of like forgiveness, and she is just back to feeling happy and aligned. And that is somehow lifting a burden off of a masculine, and that is allowing him to move forward also. It feels like there was an energetic gridlock for a while, and something here is just gently and calmly being said, like, I forgive it. I definitely feel like this is a feminine who was angry for a long time, and something has just been washed clean. She has been released. Maybe that's what this is. I didn't think of it like that. Maybe we had somebody who had been holding on to her with their regret or their shame. Maybe she was actually really pissed off because somebody's energy was holding her. And she's finally released. She's the one who's free. I didn't think of it that way. That could easily be the case here. Hang on, let me get another on that. A 9 of coins, an 8 of coins, a 2 of swords. I feel like for some strange reason, we had a feminine who was almost like not acting like herself for a while. Maybe she, by nature, is not somebody who's like angry or rude or bitter or caustic or sarcastic, and she found herself being all those things. She found herself overwhelmed. She found herself with a sharp tongue. And it's like, look, I'm intelligent, but I don't usually use words like little weapons. I know I say what's on my mind, but I usually say it diplomatically. But for a little while, maybe she was even aware like she wasn't behaving like herself. And it was because she was irritated. There was a sense of, simmering irritation that is all being lifted. And I'm feeling like she even pondered it, like, I don't get what my blockage is. I don't understand what it is. It could have been that he was working on some things, and for whatever reason, he was holding onto her energy. So here I thought it was her releasing or letting go or giving some kind of, forgiveness. I actually think that this is a more mystical storyline where what he was trying to work on, he was like trying to hold her energy. Maybe he was working through so many thoughts of her, how he had treated her, what had happened with her, how he had shown up in her world, that she was kind of being impacted and held energetically by his his thought processing. And she's finally like single and free and clear now. But I think for a period of time, these two were definitely held in this weird like limbo land without knowing it, right? All the police are here to make a barricade saying, you know, nobody can move forward yet. Nobody can move forward yet. That's a weird vibe. And she might have said, like, I don't get it. I don't understand why can't I not get over this? Or why can I not let go of my anger around this or my frustration around this? Or and all of a sudden it's just gone. It's just like lifted on the 15th. Because this is so momentous, can I just see what is the real reason that this lifts? Because I'm not really sure why. The Two of Pentacles is in the reverse, so there's no more need to balance anything. There's no more juggling of thoughts. There's no more this and that. We've got the Seven of Wands. We've got the Queen of Pentacles sideways. I do feel like this might as well be a big, huge red stop sign that said, the Queen cannot proceed yet. Now, technically, he might have still wanted her to give to him and might have been like, imagine if she is like an outlet and he is plugged in to her energy outlet, you know, the way we charge a cell phone or something. Maybe he was still taking energy from her and she was still kind of like in this trapped energy of, I don't get what's going on here. The reason this is changing is because there isn't any more of that. Maybe she could have removed herself sooner. Maybe, I don't know. But this blockage, this obstacle, this is about how we move through an obstacle. And I do feel like the choice had to be hers as to whether or not she continued to give any of her energy to that thought process. Again, I do think they were tapped in and they were wanting to constantly think about her as they were working on some part of themselves. I feel like these two got really entangled somehow. Their energies got really, really, really entangled because of what they experienced together, because of who they were toward each other. And it just created this like big snarled up tangle of energy. And it was really hard to disentangle for a period of time. And there were emotions and there was still energy being given every time they're thinking about each other. The emotion keeps basically being, the bond stays strong or even strengthens instead of weakens because there was so much thought process given to this. Even though it's like she didn't know that's what was going on. She didn't know that they wanted to keep thinking about her. She didn't know that maybe she needed to stop giving to them. Like she had the power to turn this off. But I think that having their energy somehow interwoven was actually, even though maybe it was annoying, maybe there was also a bit of a benefit. We certainly see her walking away clean and clear now. We see her turning this away. She's not mad anymore. She's feeling like, okay, the divine is here to help. There's a breakthrough in all of this. And perhaps these things have been accomplished. Let me see. What is he like now? And we saw him with the 10 of Wands. We see him finally laying down burdens. So I'm guessing he made some changes. We have the Hanged Man and we have the King of Swords. If he was working through his tendency toward martyrdom and maybe not gaining clarity on like he needs to make real decisions, or if he couldn't see his own actions in the past through another person's eyes, because it's about seeing things through a different perspective, maybe that's what he's finally come to the conclusion of. He can see things as they actually were, not from a wounded vision or a disempowered vision. So he has come out as a King of Swords at this point, which could be wonderful. A King of Swords who can see things in a different light now. What about for her? Actually, I feel like I should change decks. What is the, who is she at this point in time? What has happened for her? We have the Hermit in the reverse and the Queen of Cups upright. She is in a beautiful, warm, loving, giving energy. I think for a long time she was off in this dark room by herself, quite pissed off. I think that it was a really tough time for her. And finally, it's like, oh my God, I'm so I'm soft again. I'm warm again. I'm loving again. I'm connecting with the universe. I'm outside instead of in this dark, dark room with barely any natural light. I'm out there ready to connect with, grandfather sky and ask for, you know, things to come back into my life. I do think this relationship, whatever had happened, it really, it got both of them tangled in each other's energy flow for a long time. And it was probably because they were tangled up in whatever the dysfunction had been that they either both brought to the table, or the hurt or the pain that was, dealt to one or the other of them, or maybe both of them hurt each other. But they stayed in an energetic, surging, vibe of that work was being done, but she was downright mad for a long time that she was even still having to have dealt with them. Maybe she was mad she ever had met them. Maybe all of that had to be let go of. Who she is now is terrific. Let me go back because I'm still not sure I completely understand. What is it that's changed everything that made it so different here on the 15th? We know that there isn't any more juggling. I mean, this could be an energetic cord is getting cut. Even here, we can see the energy that floats around and around in this infinity symbol. And we see the blockages, but how do we move through blockages? That's the answer here. And 7 is a divine number, but I said it's about like the queen actually being able to make a decision about the giving and receiving of energy. She kind of is the person in charge of how this thing ends. We have a 5 of wands and we have the ace of swords. It really sounds kind of anticlimactic, but I feel like on the 15th, the big reveal in all this, the thing that makes this whole breakthrough, the thing that finally allows this energy flow that was so constant to finally just have a healing, freeing vibe to it so she can move on with her life, and maybe so that they can as well. Although he does have that hanged man, I gotta say. So I don't know. Maybe he gets clarity, but he still doesn't take much action. But it almost feels like seeing things in a divine light, healing things, letting go of things. All of this happens on the 15th when we take the sword of truth and we cut through the confusion and we say, well, really, what caused all of this continued energy was always thinking about it, analyzing it, going round and round, fighting with ourselves over what was this for? Why did this happen? What's supposed to happen. Maybe thinking and rethinking what the conversations were and hashing over stuff. And I think that it's a full stop now. We have Emperor upright. We have the Knight of Swords in the reverse. We have the Soulmate. What I actually think this is, and this is actually a female emperor. What I actually think this is that everything comes to this full stop. All the tension, all of her energy drain, her being mad at them, all of that's just gone because she steps into the emperor mode and says, you know what? The simple truth was I dealt with somebody in the past and we weren't good together. Maybe I got hurt. Maybe it brought out the worst side of me. Maybe they just pushed my buttons the wrong way. But you know what? I don't have to keep wondering or thinking about it or going over and over it anymore. There can't really be any big impulsive action. They can't come racing back into my life. But who knows? Someday, some way, if things ever are healthy, maybe, soulmates have a tendency to find each other again. At minimum, I went through a lesson cycle with them. That's it. It was a lesson. I was learning something about myself. I was learning about how to walk away from stuff that isn't good enough, healthy enough, stable enough for me to invest in. And they might have been learning the same lesson. Maybe we weren't good together, but regardless, we shouldn't have moved into this so swiftly, perhaps. But that's it. That's where I stopped the cycle of evaluating it, thinking about it, evaluating it. Finally, I take charge of my own thoughts. And I do think that's the key to this. She takes charge of her own thoughts and says, today is the day that I stop thinking about them, simply because there really isn't anything that I don't know about this. Why would I need to keep analyzing what I already know to be true, which is we had problems together. Things weren't working out. We can't swiftly be happy together, but I can move forward and, control my thoughts and acknowledge that I learned a lesson. I learned that something made me really unhappy and made me unlike myself for a while. And that's not who I am. I don't want to give to things that make me feel sad inside. That's a big breakthrough for her. And maybe that was always the better question to ask. Maybe she was trying to figure out why do I still feel something about them? I'm so mad that I have to feel something, when maybe she was almost like punishing herself, and she's not anymore. Definitely feels like a wonderful divine breakthrough. This is not to like say anybody was they were a villain, blah, blah, blah. It's more, how does a cycle of, hurt and confusion come to a close? It's when a character says, I don't want to keep thinking about things that are upsetting and painful. I actually, if something is not healthy enough for me to be in, it's not giving, satisfaction and support and kindness, then I get to stop thinking about it, and I get to move on. And I really think that's what it is for her. But I also think it allows him to move on, except with that Hanged Man. Let me go back over to him for just a second. We have an Ace of Cups. Ace of Pentacles. So she's moving on without him. And she's moving on in a beautiful, big way. But he seems to actually know how he feels, but he still is unable to do anything about it. We have the Empress, but we have the World in the reverse. And it's interesting because in their energy flows, he's come out as a king, right? But he also comes out as an Empress who would match an emperor. She has become an emperor. So it's like they swapped roles a little bit, but everything that he could do, or he would need to do, he keeps sacrificing. But maybe he's becoming aware that he is the one who stays away from a happy connection because he keeps, sabotaging or self-sacrificing or martyring his own new beginning. But I don't see him changing it. I don't see him doing that. I see him knowing it, but not changing it. So I don't know why he's choosing that, but I know she's not sticking around and waiting on somebody who keeps choosing some sabotagey. I don't know why he's doing that, but he seems to be content in it since he's a King of Swords upright. He knows he's doing it, but he's continuing that way. She's moved on. That's what the story is. The breakthrough in the stagnation is she had to move on. All right, not the greatest message maybe, but I'm happy for her. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up. Bye.